Hey guys, it's Mina, or Roro, whatever you want to call me. My boss calls me all kinds of things. Tina, Nina, Mina. Sometimes he actually calls me my real name, Romina. He's goofy like that. So that's my introduction. Alright, what I wanted to touch base on today, and this is, welcome, this is my YouTube channel, Roro Designs Love, which is also my brand. It's my Etsy store, it's everything. So I wanted to touch base today on some tips and troubleshooting that hopefully can help anyone out if you've tried watching my last print and cut hack video. I wanted to touch base on maybe some things that have been asked to me directly via message or via the comments. If you read the comment section, I had a back and forth conversation with someone, and now she is printing full page and accurately, and she's so happy, and I'm so happy for her. So I wanted to touch base on some things that I may not have gone into detail before. So I use Procreate, as you can tell. If you're watching this and you don't have an iPad, don't limit yourself, first of all, to the fact that you don't have Procreate. I'm sure you've seen this hack before, and people mostly use Adobe, or I think it's Adobe Photoshop. It's right, it's the same thing. If you have a program or app where you can save your things as a PNG, that's all you need for my hack. So I'm gonna go ahead and create a canvas, and this is number one important step regardless of what program you're using. Examples of programs before I forget. So I use Procreate. You can use Inkscape. You can use Ibis Paint. Ibis Paint, I believe, is for Android, not on the Fire tablet, I believe, because with Kindle, the apps that you can get through Android are a little limited. It is technically an Android tablet, but it's essentially whatever Amazon has available to download as apps. So if you have another type of tablet, Samsung, whatever it may be, it's going to be Android. You can go to the Google Play Store and download Ibis Paint. I've used it a little bit on my phone, and you can save such a transparent background, which is what you need for this. So what you're going to do here, an Affinity Designer. I do this a lot. If you knew me in person, you'd know, oh yeah, that's totally Mina. Yeah. I go back and forth and I forget and I say a lot. So get ready for this. Let me get started because it's been too long. So you're going to go ahead and create a canvas. Procreate, it automatically defaults to pixels. I'm going to change that to inches, and I'm going to make it 8.5 by 11 inches because it's what I'm working with. I usually always print with something like this. So it goes as a DPI of 400. That's fine for me. The color profile, it automatically defaults to RGB, which is fine for me too. So it creates this. And second thing is, you want to make sure that, at least with Procreate, that you're holding your tablet this way, that the iPad is this way and not horizontal. Here's why. Let me start with black. You're gonna go up to the little actions thing here, and you're gonna go to canvas, and you're gonna turn on the drawing guide. Then you're gonna go to edit drawing guide. And in here, I don't know if you can tell, I'm gonna zoom in, that the lines are not lined up with the edges. So in order to get it lined up, you're gonna go down here to the grid size and make it 100. Now it's lined up. If you started using your device in horizontal view, those lines are not gonna line up. Trust me, I've tried it. I don't know why that is. It only works when I start out like this. So why 100 pixels? 100 pixels equals 1/4 of an inch, and it makes it the perfect way to line up your canvas for the full page hack. So what this means is that each of these little squares is 1/4 inch, so every 4 squares is a full inch. So you're going to click done, leave it the way it is. The opacity on it is perfect. And now you're always going to be at a default of layer 1. And what you're going to do here is just choose your brush of preference. I'm going to use the monoline, and I'm going to make it smaller, as small as it can go. And I'm going to go ahead, and you can do this 2 ways. You can just, just draw it in, wait for it to snap into place, and then you can drag it, and you can do it this way. But it's not perfect. I want it to be, you want to try to make it as close to this square being 1/4 of an inch, because it's important for later, especially if you're just starting out and you're not sure if you're printing at 100% scale. So what I have been doing is I go here to the select tool, I go to freehand, and I will go here, select that, and then just select up there, and it makes a perfect line. So I'm going to just drag this out this way, bring it to right there, and just select this, and it brings us to full circle, and now you have a perfect square right there. Go ahead and do that here also. Most programs have the same type of tools. They might just be called something different. So whatever you're using, just find what your select tool might be and see if you can attempt doing it this way. If not, it's okay. Just freehand it. I was doing it at the beginning, and then I fill it in. And there. So now we have perfect 1/4 inch squares. All right. Now that we have this like this, I just hit something. I want to explain why we need this. Why is that important to have that? Let me log into Design Space. Okay, it's way too quiet. All right, here we go. That took too long. So this is what I am going to do, and I think I may already have something saved. So yeah, I do. So you're gonna always leave your little registration marks on a separate layer, and whatever you want to add on to here is going to be a different layer. So just to show you something, I'm going to go ahead, make a circle, select it. Now this is its own standalone circle right there, right? So if we were to upload this into Design Space, just exactly as it is with the registration marks, we're gonna remove the background. Now it is a transparent background, and it's only going to upload the squares and the circle. So if we were to upload that, it's going to look like this. It's going to be huge. As you can tell, if you go to edit, you select it, it's 21.5 by 27.75. So you're gonna go to the width, make it 8.5, and it automatically snaps into 11 inches. Now you have this perfect 8.5 by 11 inch PNG that you've uploaded. So what would happen if you didn't use the registration marks? It's kind of hard to explain, but essentially the Cricut is not going to read these. Normally with the print and cut, it prints out a square and it kind of reads the registration marks to know where to cut. With this, it's not going to actually read these. It's just going to recognize this is how big your sheet actually is, and it's going to know where to cut your cut file, because you're not printing this. This is just going to be cut out. You're going to print it separately from your computer, from your iPad, whatever it is that you use to print and that you can print accurately. You're going to then just print that out, laminate it, not laminate it, whatever it is you're doing, and then you're just going to upload the PNG file onto the sign space. So this is what it would look like. It's exactly the size as it is here. Now, if you were to remove the registration marks and only upload the circle, go back to the sign space, and I'm gonna remove this. And I'm just gonna do it with my finger, I guess. And I already have it here. This is what happens when I uploaded just a circle. We have this giant circle, and I have no way of telling the sign space where on the canvas of my canvas the circle actually is. It's not going to be accurate. You could guess, but it's not going to be correct. So that is why it's important to have those little squares. They can be on all four corners if you wanted to, but they only just need to be on one extreme and the other, so it can recognize how big your my machine's in the way, how big your canvas is. So if that makes sense, I hope that makes sense. It's kind of hard to explain, but just do it. I'm telling you to do it. It's gonna work. So that's step number one, is working with a canvas that's the right size and creating your registration marks. The second important thing to do is to print accurately at 100%. So when I was using my HP printer, on the HP app, I'm going to just show you guys. So this is my little packaging backer cards. This is an order that's going out soon. I would go and do print from another app, choose my HP printer, and here, this is an old file, so the registration marks on this one is actually 1/2 inch. So we'll go, and it's automatically just snaps into place the way that HP wants to print it. So I would go to transform, go to resize and more, and it's automatically set to fit to page, and you don't want that. Whatever printer you're using, whatever, if you're using a Mac, if you're using PC, a laptop, whatever it is that you may be, Chromebook, whatever it is that you're printing from, look at your settings, get familiarized with your printer and how it prints, and make sure that you're printing at 100% scale. For this app on the HP, what that means is original size. And you saw how that changed? See, that's how it wanted to print, and that's the original size. So it just made it larger. When it was fit to page, it was fitting exactly. This square right there is 1/2 inch. When you make it original size, the square gets smaller. And it's not that it shrunk, it's that it's making sure now that from the edge to the edge of the square, from the edge of the paper to the square, is now 1/2 inch. Before, it was the square that was 1/2 inch plus the little gap on the sheet. You don't want that. You want it to make sure that when you print this out, from the edge of the paper to the edge of the square, that's the size that you colored in. In this case, it was 1/2 inch. If you do the 1/4 inch, that's what it's gonna be. I started out at first doing 1/2 inch, so because I was starting out, and I just wanted to make sure that it wasn't gonna cut off the 1/4 inch, and it doesn't cut it off. And then once you print it out, you take your sheet and you measure it. And it's obviously here it's smaller, so it's not, but you would go and measure and you would verify that yes, it's printing that size. So my tip to you is when you're starting out, create your registration marks and then go ahead and, I'm going to clear this out. Go ahead and create a square in the center of your canvas that's 5 or 6 inches. 6 by 6 by 6 by 6. So if you're not sure what that is, create a second layer and just go in and count every four squares and make a line. So every 4 squares, make a line, and what that distance is going to be an inch. So that's it. And then go here and then just do that. So this is for when you're starting out and getting familiarized with your own equipment to make sure that you are printing to 100% scale. And it's very important. At the beginning, you're going to be doing a little bit of legwork, but once you have that all down pat, you're going to be fine and it's going to be smooth sailing, I swear. So I'm going to go ahead and do a separate layer, do the select tool, and I'm going to go from here to here. So I'm going to go down to here in this line right there and make a dot. And you can draw this on, but I'm just doing it like this because it's easier. And then I'm going to do a 5-inch square. So down here to this line. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's this line right here. And there. And meeting halfway there. And then select that and fill it in. So you always want to work on a separate layer than the stuff that you're doing because you want to be able to move this independently. So now I'm going to place this. I'm going to turn on snapping. And I'm going to place it right smack in the middle, and it's going to snap into place. There it is. So now I would go ahead and print this out and do my test. And also, I wouldn't make it black. I would do it a different, softer color, maybe like a light pink. Do it like this. Yeah. And even turn down the opacity on it, because you don't need it to be crazy. You just need it to print something that you can see, so you're not wasting your ink while you're doing your tests. So that's it. Then I would go and do my test prints. I'm not going to go in and print out all my stickers and waste all my ink. I'm just going to do this and keep doing this until this prints out at 5 by 5 by 5 inches. So that would be a big tip to you. Don't be like me. When I started out, I watched some videos and I was like, oh, hell, I got this. I can do this. And my cuts were horrible and I could not figure out why. And I figured out that it was because of this. It was these reasons. I needed to perfect this method. And that's why I started doing it this way. So that's step 2 is the printing. Making sure that you have that accurately. So I'm going to try to show you guys now what it looks like on my Epson, on my settings for Epson. And I have to bring out my tablet like this because it doesn't really work. I can't, it's breaking down slowly and I can't get it to brighten up. It just won't. I've tried. There's a button for it on it and it just, some of these buttons up here are not really working anymore. So I just can't. Anyway, let's move on. So the way that I've had to rework my stuff with doing a full page hack is that before with my HP printer, I would print from my iPad. I would save everything as a PNG, save it, and then upload it into a Word document, and then just print it from there, and it was fine. For some people, I've heard them say that Word blurs their designs, but I didn't have any issues. I was printing perfectly fine doing it that way. But with Epson, I've had to do it differently because for some reason with the Epson, it does kind of make the design blurry. It didn't do that with HP, and I'm not sure what is the correlation with that. So I didn't feel like messing with it. I just went ahead and found a different way. Just the same way that I didn't feel like messing around with the print and cut, I found a different way to do it. So that's what I do. I just try to find different ways of doing things so that they work for me, instead of trying really hard to make me work for it. Anyway, so now what I do is, since my iPad is the only Apple product I have, I can't just airdrop it into anything. I have to go ahead and save it somewhere. So the way that I found is that I go ahead and save it into my Google Drive. And then I have to save it as a PDF file. So I'm gonna show you here quickly. And then I also have to make sure that my background is completely white, and that it's on. So when I go to print this, I leave the background on white, and then I go to the actions, and go to share, and I go to PDF, and I save it as best quality. So I'm gonna do that because it's gonna show some of my contacts. Okay, so then once I'm ready to save, I go and save it here to my drive right there, and that's it. So once it's in my drive, I pull it up. Here's the PDF of something that I do need to print, and I go ahead and go to print, and I go to properties. I'm gonna try to see if I can make that easier for you guys to look at it. I'm gonna erase it a little bit. So dusty too, and this is a touch screen, so it's even worse. Everything gets really dusty. Oh no, where'd it go? Here it is. So I go ahead and go to properties, and I have this set to let me use this. I have to set to portrait, presentation paper matte, quality is high, and then I go to more options, and I have this set to, I go here and I click on reduce enlarge document, and I'm not sure if this is coming up. Okay, all right, and then I choose zoom to, and I do 100%. I think it may be a little blurry coming up on the video because the lighting's not good in here. I mean, the lighting is really good, but it's making it very reflective, and I can't turn the brightness on my laptop any more than this. So that's what you would look for, is you would look for it to say reduce, enlarge, and make it 100%, and then turn off the high-speed printing, and then click OK. So that's what you would do for Epson. On Mac, I believe it looks a little bit different, but it's basically the same thing. You just have to explore your settings and see how your printer works and where you would go to do certain things. Once you have all of that and you're printing this, and it's printing to scale, you print it out, you measure it, and it's measuring the 5 inches by 5 inches. You measure your little registration marks, and they're 1/4 of an inch, whatever size you decided to make them. Then go ahead and try it, and don't laminate it the first time. Essentially, you want to do this so that you're not wasting a lot of material at first. So the first time, don't try to laminate it. Just print just very basic designs with your offsets and whatnot, and do a test cut, and follow the steps on my tutorial from here on out, and you should be golden. Really, I've been doing this whole time, and I just cut some out the other day. So this is what it would look like. You have the square here, the square there. You go ahead and you cut out the squares on your sheet, and then you line them up, and that's it. I try to work with a mat that's not crazy sticky, just a little bit sticky enough to keep your design down, but not so sticky that it's going to really be hard to take it off later. So this comes off easily. I don't have to work hard at removing it. So why do I do it this way? Let me try to find an old mat. I know I have an old mat that uses the frame, because I have one and I haven't taken off the frame off it yet, but I know I have one somewhere and I just don't use it anymore. Oh my gosh, did I throw it out? No way. Okay, see, this is the third time that I'm recording this video, and I didn't like what I did before. I'm not 100% sure I like how this one's going. But, oh, here it is. So, just to recap, the second, I think I called it the updated version. I'm leaving it on YouTube, but don't even watch it. Don't even watch that one because it sucks. The first time, very first video I made was using this hack with cutting the mat. I don't have words. Jesus. With cutting out the little squares, and I did that a couple times and it wasn't working out for me, and so I ditched that and I went and tried this method. Now this method, I'm sure you've seen this one a whole lot more than what I do, and the difference with it, I'm gonna try to raise my okay, mess up my whole thing, why not? Okay, so I just want the frame to come up on camera a little bit better, but okay, whatever. It doesn't want to work with me. All right, so I'll explain this method very quickly. I don't want to go into detail too much on it because I don't like it. You see how beat up this mat is. So what you do is you take your tape and you tape around where your sheet would be, and you would go in and do it this way, making sure that you're covering exactly where your paper would go. Then you go into Design Space, create a shape, a square, make it 8.5 by 11 inches, and then you send it to cut, and it's gonna cut this frame out. This is what I call it. I don't really know what it's called. I call it a frame. It looks like a frame. Anyway, once you have that, you would go ahead and place your paper. This is cardstock, so I think it's a little bit bigger, but no, it's the same. It's good. Okay, so you will go in. This is, imagine you've printed out your stickers, you have your registration marks on there, and then you go ahead and place this in there and you cut it. Now, this works kind of. The issue I have with this method is that when you go to push your mat into your machine, my machine's right here, but I'm not gonna open it because it's gonna mess everything up. You would go and put it in, and then you already have, you put this on here, you have everything set up, you put your thing on here, and then you put it in and it starts to cut. And I found that, why is that not accurate? Because it's kind of hard to explain. Because you're putting in your design with the mat together and you're pushing it in. Now, the first time that you created your mat, this is convenient, yeah, because it's there already, the template is done, and all you have to do is put in your design and push it in. The issue I have with this is that when you created this template, you applied a certain specific type of pressure into sliding this into the machine. Now, you can just set it there. I'm just gonna do it, show you real quick. And these are my own stickers that I made for myself. Okay, let's see. Okay, see if I can. Nope, that's wrong. Okay, I guess that's as far as I can go. Oh my gosh, no. Okay, I'm 33. I'm pretty tech savvy, but these screens are touchy, okay? Let's move on and pretend that didn't happen. So anyway, let me see. Okay, that's what I wanted to do. Make it as far away as humanly possible. Let's pull this way. Just trying to adjust this so you can see. I want to show you this right here. So my machine's not turned on, but when you go and create your frame, you either just set it there and it pulls it in for you, or you curl your mat and whatever technique you use and you shove it in there and it pulls it in. So each time that it's pulling it in, I can assure you, because I've done it, it's not going to pull it in the exact same way. You're not going to push it in with the same exact amount of pressure. Even if you decide to shove it in harder this time around, it's gonna pull it in more. And I know this, and I'm gonna show you how I know this. I'm gonna pull an old mat. This one, this is the perfect example. This mat, I've used the newest method, and now I have to get on my tippy toes. And I don't know if you can see this right here. You see how it looks as if there's two squares? There's one square here, there, and then there's another one here. So they're overlapping. So what happened there? I've used this multiple times. I have applied more pressure one time and the square cut in one spot. I applied less pressure another time and it cut in a different spot. And look what the difference is. You can see that, right? You can tell that there's a significance. There's, I want to say maybe a little less than an eighth of an inch. But for when you're making stickers that have the smallest of offsets or outline or whatever you want to call it, I'm going to show you a freebie sticker I have. And because I did not adjust, I'm really far away right now. Hold on. Okay, because I did not adjust my offset, you'll see it here. It's this sticker right here. It's that one. This one's a clear one because I wanted to test it out and I like it. But the offset on this is tiny already. For the life size one, I did not adjust the offset on this little one. It remained the same scale. And imagine if I had cut this and I pushed this in this, and there was that big of a difference. This is bigger than my offset. I'm not sure if you understand what I mean, is that if I had used this method and cut it, see how much of a difference it can make when you shove it or not shove it or make it lighter. You'd have to be so disciplined in not applying all that pressure when you put your mat in. You'd have to be like amazing at putting it in at the exact same pressure every time. So if I had done that, this would not have cut so accurately. It would have actually been very bad. So I'm totally off frame. Okay, so this works really well if you're printing all the same stickers. If you're buying off a template off of somebody that sells it with a full page hack or not, I've seen other Etsy sellers do that. If you're doing it that way and they're all the same image, fine. That's perfectly fine. But that doesn't work for me. I'm not printing 12 of the same sticker. I'm printing whatever stickers I have orders for. So sometimes I'll have this little ghost, or I'll have this ghost, and then maybe I'll have an order for this one, which is a Girl Mama rainbow sticker. And then once I have them all placed on my canvas, I'm gonna be left with a lot of little gaps. So what do I do with those gaps? I put in my freebie stickers. So I have this one, and I have this one, and I have the one I showed you, and then they fit into little gaps everywhere. And if it's gonna cut off, it's gonna cut a little bit off, like it did here in that little space. It really bothers me. If you can't quite see it, I'm gonna try to make it. I'm gonna draw on it so you can see exactly where that overlap is. It just wouldn't work. See, so there's two squares and they're overlapped from different cuts, different times that I cut it. But if I was doing this all with just this, it would have cut off on one of those times. So that's why I don't like it. If you're cutting multiples of the same things, if you have like sets and you're just cutting the same thing over and over, you might not be able to tell the difference. But if you go, I'm going to show you one old one that I cut using, it's a little freebie sticker that I cut using, now I gotta find it, cut using the old method. And this one, now the big ones cut out okay, but this one didn't, because it wasn't meant to. When you cut something smaller, is how wrong the offset is going to be very noticeable. So that was like a run-on rant right there. I'm done. I'm done talking about this. I don't recommend this. I've tried it. These are my reasons. Just don't do it. Just do this. Really, it's just so much easier. I've had people tell me, yes, this works. Thank you so much. Blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, awesome. That actually makes my day. I'm glad that you have found something that works and that you're not wasting material. You're not wasting ink. You're not wasting your time. You're staying on track with your orders. Blah, blah, blah. All that stuff. So if you found this helpful, if you made it this far, share it. You know, if this is helpful for you, please share it. If you have more questions that you need answered, put them down in the comments. I'll answer them, and then maybe I'll make another video with more troubleshooting on this hack. Honestly, once you have it down, I think it's great. I think it's the best thing. It's the best thing that happened to me starting out my business, because when I started out, I was making horrible stickers. I was not blessed with an awesome Cricut maker. The maker is great, but when it comes to print and cut, it's not that great. So I am utilizing the cut files versus the print and cut files to make my stickers, and that's fine. You know, I'm not bashing Cricut. I love it. I love my Cricut machine. I love everything else that I can make with it is fine. It's just the print and cut is not perfect. So if you already invested in the machine, don't just go and try to sell it for less than what you paid for and then go buy a Cameo, Silhouette, whatever the brand is. You know, if you want to go that route and try to relearn a whole new program, you know, that's your prerogative. Go for it. I tried it, and I did it in the middle of me having a couple orders that I wanted to fulfill, and it was frustrating, and I was like, screw this. I'm just going to try to perfect this hack, and here I am. So that's it. That's the end of my rant. I'm done. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. And I somehow managed to make this video in one sitting, even though I messed up a little bit before because the camera got weird. But anyway, 40 minutes too long. My name is Mina. You guys have a wonderful rest of your day. If you learned something, let me know. If you want to learn something else new, if you want to learn something that's sticker related that I can do on Procreate for you, let me know too, and I'll do it. Or even not sticker related. Whatever. I cannot stop talking. My God. Bye.